When I was a senior in high school, I first encountered the term paradigm shift in a world novels class. We tackled discussions on how numerous authentic and ancient cultures in recent history were flipped upside down by more powerful people just for greed. Thus, when all that was desired was taken away from the abused people, the messy parts were pushed under the rug. We learned that these weaker, yet in their own rights, flourishing civilizations fell victim to the more powerful nations by a dark use of the paradigm shift, in colonialism and other inhumane tactics. The main point which unraveled the complex idea of the paradigm shift was that these cultures went through a drastic change from their culture to a new unknown culture. The people were forced to undergo a shift from everything they knew as life and their traditions to being a convert to the restrictive yet unstable structures of the dominant society. I remember wondering in awe and fear the immense strain one would feel upon watching everything you knew disappear before your eyes. Because of the forced paradigm shift, the civilizations lost their unique identities and became dependent on the forced traditions. The aftermath of this tactic has disastrous consequences. Thankfully, the silver lining in this lesson was in learning the opposite, the powers of a paradigm shift. So we found that paradigm shifts are applied in a sympathetic and sensitive manner to willing individuals in society. It can actually form a common platform that harbors human connection and mutual respect. In this way, instead of a single idea being held supremely over the other, now two or more can be held in a shared view, allowing deeper understanding between humans in the diverse world we live in. If you do not allow yourself to learn beyond your culture, there can be no progress in humanity, as we are meant to connect with each other. Now, consider for a moment, leaving the community where you lived all your life, filled with family, friends, and all the familiar, comfortable aspects of society, which you've come to be a part of, to suddenly living in a foreign country with no experience or connections to anything or anybody. Just like that, you have a blank canvas in front of you. Perhaps you have some notions of the culture you're about to enter. That's not enough. All that is ahead of you is unknown and even perhaps terrifying, and wondrous at the same time. In essence, overwhelming. This was my paradigm shift dilemma. I know, it sounds like a crazy thing to do, right? But it's exactly what I planned for. The Rites of Passage QU301 class run at Quinnipiac pushed us students going abroad to put ourselves in these weak yet open positions. I was urged to leave all I knew behind and step forward to embrace a culture 4,500 miles away in Sevilla, Spain. Even more, I was challenged to take a solid grasp on the culture and embrace it. True, there were many highs and lows, times when I felt out of place, homesick, and unwilling to challenge myself. Even something as simple as getting a haircut was a challenge due to the language barriers. I slowly kept chipping away at these walls, and ultimately, what came out of my paradigm shift outshined all the doubts and hardships. Abroad, I found myself doing things I had only dreamed about, flying off to far-off foreign cities, traversing rural countrysides where locals shoot you curious glares, comfortably enjoying a coffee in a cafe amongst a crowded marketplace, and making friends with people I've never met before. All those seem easy and fun, but trust me, it's nothing until you've gone out and done it. Immersing yourself in culture is so difficult at times. My biggest goal I made before I left Spain 3 months ago was to go out and try new things. Back at home, sometimes I found myself in a closed loop, not venturing outside my comfort zone. Abroad, I immersed myself in cultures and activities I never knew before. I've come to understand what it means to be aware of more than just yourself and your immediate interests. Now, proudly I can tell you I've made an incredible transformation. From a small-town kid raised in a white middle-class suburban bubble to a culturally aware man in Sevilla. Peeking over the hedge is one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. It will lead you places you've never imagined, and you'll be amazed at why it took you so long to realize what the other side has to offer. So my final advice, wake up, hear the streets bustling below you. There's a whole world out there, bursting of vibrant and diverse communities, which all have a treasure chest of knowledge waiting to be discovered.